and tell any of the underclassmen what my sister is most known for?
Oh my gosh!
Brianna. Trying to save the environment, right? And I know the method that she took about it was kind of, we're all gonna die, it's all your fault, let's shove it down your throat now a little bit more. So, I am here to kind of touch on the same subject, but in a much more, in a different manner. I promise it'll be fun. I'm going to ask a couple questions, and I know there's been a lot of chatter in the audience in between the, you know, how many of you guys want to go to that night dance, that sort of thing. So I'm going to try to keep it as quick as I can, I promise. But I don't know how many of you know, but I spent a month in Bangladesh, over winter break, and I was there studying climate change. So, Bangladesh. Who can tell me what continent Bangladesh is on? Raise your hand. Raise your hand.
Africa.
It's in Asia.
Ooh, right. Alright, so there it is, and then going up closer. There it is, and one more time. There it is. It's kind of small. It's like in the nooks of India. So, why Bangladesh? Because Bangladesh is argued to be the most impacted country by climate change. Now, what's climate change? Can someone tell me in very simple English, not in Mr. Boot or Miss J terms, what's climate change? Devlin.
Climate change is...
Yeah! Alright, let's... So we're going to make this fast. It's going to take longer. We're going to break. Shayla, let's try one more time.
When the weather in the air is the same as the weather.
Right, okay, so basically, climate change. So what happens are the sun warms up our planet, right? Without it, we would be frozen to death. But what not a lot of people know is also without our atmosphere that surrounds the Earth, we would also be frozen because the sun sends heat to the Earth, we reflect some of it, and then it gets absorbed back into the ozone, and then we absorb it back into the Earth, that sort of thing. But gases that we are emitting, man-made gases, are going into the atmosphere that are unnatural. And they're sending too many of them. And they're trapping more heat. So the Earth, as a result, is starting to get warmer, starting to rain weird. You know, what time? What?
You keep going.
Sorry. Like, when did it start raining last year? Like, during the summertime, right? That was kind of weird. So, again, Bangladesh is argued to be the country that is affected most. Why? Because it's virtually a flat country, so it's very low-lying. It's got lots of rivers and other bodies of water, and it borders the Bay of Bengal. So these are some of the problems. We're going to focus on the first one first. Rising sea levels. Rising sea levels. Okay, so rising temperatures, climate change, leads to melting ice caps, ice sheets, and glaciers, leaving the polar bears stranded and the penguins stranded, which results in rising sea levels. Another problem, flooding. Rising sea levels leads to flooding. 20% of Bangladesh is flooded on an average annually. That's 20% of their entire country is flooded in 1 year. But on any given year that's a bad year, that number can raise from 20% to 80%. That is well over half of the country underwater at any time in the year. And that picture right there, I didn't take it, but I have seen pictures from my host family that they have taken, and they look just like this. This is a very normal thing for them to have to endure. Saltwater intrusion. Natural disasters like floods and cyclones increase the level of salinity in the soil. Salt is bad for crops. My mom, I don't know why she did this. We had really bad slugs during the summer, right? And so she read in a magazine that if you surround your plants with a layer of salt, the bugs won't come in, which makes sense because you sprinkle salt on snails or whatever, they boil up and die. But she did it over the summer, and then it rained over the summer, climate change, and all the salt spread into our garden and it all died. So it was kind of funny to see, but she was really mad about that. So yeah, salt is bad for crops. Bangladesh is densely populated. Now this next slide, it kind of just shows you numbers. You know, there's 313 million in the USA population. Took that last night off the calculator thingy. Bangladesh population is about 156 million, you know, whatever. They're just numbers, right? Well, oh man, that kind of messed up. Okay, let's take a look at the picture. The yellow right there is the United States of America. And Hawaii is included in there, so that's even bigger. And then there's Bangladesh. Bangladesh is nearly half of our population, but only 2.3% of the size. So that is like taking half of our population and throwing it into something that's close to the size of Oregon. I'm pretty sure there'd be some unhappy people about that, right? Yeah, I would be. So that leads to lots of climate refugees. Climate refugees are people that are displaced due to major climate events, like cyclones, earthquakes, that sort of thing. And these events can be caused by man, like over flooding, or they can be natural, like earthquakes. In Bangladesh, right now, there's an average of 6 million climate refugees. These are people who are living in literally tin huts. I saw people living off of nothing because they had nowhere to go. There's 6 million of those in Bangladesh. And there's an estimation by 2050, the sea levels will rise 3.3 feet, 1 meter. That's as tall as I am. No, I'm just kidding. A little shorter. But not that much. And that's going to displace 20 million people just in Bangladesh. So it's really affected by rising sea levels. So I know a lot of you are thinking, that's cool, Anna, but climate change can't be real, right? Well, it is. Climate change is very much real, and it's changing the climate is changing faster than it ever has before, and the Earth is hotter than it ever has been before. Human activity is causing the warmth. Only CO2 and other greenhouse gas emissions from human activity can explain this warming, and it's been proven. Don't ask me how, I'm not a scientist. Oil and coal industries, this one is fun. Oil and coal industries spent $427 million just in the first 6 months of the year 2008 in political contributions, lobbying, expenditures, and advertising to oppose climate action. Seems kind of fishy to me because it's the oil and coal industries spending that much money to try to convince you guys that it's not real. And then there's some of you thinking, that's cool, Anna, but we're not in Bangladesh, right? Well, it affects everyone. It's affecting our fresh water source. Out of all of the water in the entire planet, only 0.007% of it is fresh water. And that we can use, right? So that includes all the water that we use to take our 10-minute showers. That includes all the water that we use to water our already green front lawns and sidewalks. That includes everything. That's 0.007 of it. And climate change is affecting that little amount of water that we have left to use. Temperatures change, causing species of animals to have to migrate, affecting everything, or just to slowly die off. I'm sure a lot of you know about the coral reefs, which are being affected by rising levels of salt in their water. And then there's the polar bears, of course, and the penguins. The penguins. And you can't really see it, but there's lots of flooding and lots of droughts happening elsewhere, not just in Bangladesh. We're talking worldwide right now. So, help. Those people that I saw in Bangladesh are some of the people that contribute the least to climate change. These are people who live off of nothing every day. If you took, you go online and you do that calculator thing, and it tells you your footprint that you make. If you were to do that to them, it would literally be nothing. Yet they are being affected the most. So we're over here, living in our fine houses, and our fine apartments, whatever, to be quite frank, no matter where you are, if you're in this room, you've got a good life right now. Because some of the things I saw were some of the most life-shattering things. There were little kids coming up to me begging for money that were honestly about 5 or 6 years old. And they had nowhere to live. And this is a very normal thing in Bangladesh. My host family, they don't even bat an eye at these little kids, at these old people, at these people that have no arms that come up to you and ask you just for 1 taka, 2 taka. And that's about 3 cents, and that would make a difference for them. So, one more slide. Do your part, please. Bike. I know it's... It's hard to turn the lights off when you leave the room. It's hard to remember your reusable water bottle. It's hard to not go shopping when you really just don't need those new pairs of pants. And it's hard to bring your own plastic or bring your own reusable bags when you go shopping. It's difficult, I know. And I'm not asking any of you to be perfect. I'm not asking you to be like my sister. Because frankly, I'd probably rip my hair out if you all were like my sister. But I am asking you to make small changes, small steps towards something that can add and something that can change people on the other side of the planet. I know it's hard to picture, because when I was in your place before I went on this trip, it was kind of like, people on the other side of the planet, I see pictures, I see, hear stories, whatever. But they're real. They are there and they are struggling because I just had to straighten my hair this morning. You look beautiful with natural hair, I promise. You all do. It's not necessary to do those extra things. So all I'm asking is to take little steps. Now, really quickly, as I wrap this up, this trip is honestly one of the best things that has ever happened to me. And how much did I pay for it? This wonderful trip to go to the other side of the planet. $0. What? Yes, I went to Bangladesh to study the most passionate thing that I have in my life for $0. How? I applied for the trip. You guys can too. It's happening again this year. So you can check out World Savvy. The applications are up in February. So they might be up by now. But the applications are there. I encourage you all to apply. It's a process and not everyone's going to get it. But it's free and it will not hurt anyone if you just apply. And also what won't hurt anyone is if you change your ways of living. Please pick up your chairs, and if you have any questions for me about this trip, I am here